Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to really unpack some fascinating ideas, give you some tools.
Exactly.
And today we're looking at, well, not just definitions, but a set of 5 really powerful words, a kind of unique lexicon. Words that can actually, shape how you see things.
Indeed. We're working from this great little excerpt, Lexicon of Five Unique Words.
Mhm.
And our goal, really, is to get underneath the surface meaning. These aren't just words to know, they're like frameworks.
Frameworks, yeah.
They open windows onto, well, human experience, what's happening in society, even personal stuff. They give us clearer ways to think,
Hmm.
maybe understand things more deeply.
Absolutely. Think of it like getting a richer vocabulary and I guess a more precise way of thinking almost instantly. We'll cover the basic meaning, sure, but then explore what it means out there in the real world and why these particular words have such resonance. So, okay, let's jump right in. First, linguistic gem. It's resilient.
Ah, yes. Resilient, a word you hear a lot, right?
Hmm.
Especially when things get tough. Our source defines it simply as able to recover quickly from difficulties.
Okay, recover quickly. And the example they give is interesting. Children are often more resilient than adults in adapting to change. That feels very, very relevant today. The world changes so fast.
It does, but let's dig into that phrase, recover quickly, a bit more. What's really fascinating, I think, isn't just the speed. It's
Yeah.
the way you recover. Resilience isn't always just bouncing back to where you were before. Often it's about bouncing forward.
Bouncing forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it implies this active process. You adapt, you learn, maybe you even emerge stronger, changed because of the difficulty.
Yeah.
Think about, say, a business. It goes through a really bad downturn.
Hmm.
If it's resilient, it doesn't just survive. It might use that tough time to innovate, find new markets, change how it works, and it comes out fundamentally stronger, more robust. That's bouncing forward.
Right, not just getting back to normal.
Exactly. Or think about nature. A
Mm.
forest fire. It recovers, but it might not just grow back exactly the same. New species might come in. The whole ecosystem might shift, become maybe even more diverse. That ability to integrate the change, find a new balance, that's real resilience, more than just recovery.
That distinction, bouncing back versus bouncing forward, that's really powerful. It makes you wonder then, if resilience is about active adaptation, about growth, how should we approach challenges as individuals or even, collectively, if the goal isn't just back to normal, but evolving?
Yeah.
What does that look like practically? Like when you hit a setback, do you consciously look for the lesson, the chance to innovate? Or is that something you have to cultivate?
That's a great question.
Maybe it's seeing the challenge itself as a sort of catalyst for transformation, not just a hurdle.
Precisely,
Yeah.
which actually leads us nicely.
Okay, so if resilience is about enduring and adapting, our next word, it explores the total opposite, fading away. The word is oblivion.
Oblivion. Yeah, quite a contrast. The source defines it as the state of being forgotten or unaware.
And the example sentence, wow, it really makes you think. Many ancient civilizations have faded into oblivion, just gone, forgotten.
It does make you pause.
Yeah.
It touches on these huge questions, doesn't it?
Oh.
Memory, legacy,
Yeah.
how things don't last forever. For something to fade into oblivion, it means it's completely lost, erased from memory. Nobody knows it existed. Or maybe only in the vaguest sense. Think about, I don't know, all the languages, the art forms, the cultures just lost to time. We might find fragments, bits of pottery, but the actual lived experience, gone. You mentioned the Mayan script earlier. That came incredibly close.
Right.
It nearly slipped into oblivion.
Yeah.
Deciphering it was like a race against that forgetfulness.
Mhm.
For a whole civilization, it's usually a slow process. Things decay, records are lost, oral traditions die out, time just erodes memory.
Yeah.
And there's that interesting contrast, too, between being forgotten by others and being unaware yourself. Like for a person, oblivion might mean unconsciousness. But for a culture, it's erasure from the collective human mind.
That is heavy.
It really challenges you to think about what we value, what's worth preserving, what efforts should we make to ensure things last.
It makes me think about now, with everything digital, archived, supposedly permanent,
Yeah.
is real oblivion even possible anymore? Or are we just creating new ways for things to decay digitally? Future-proofed forgetting.
It's a fascinating thought. Digital decay.
Yeah, and the idea that things fade, it could feel a bit bleak, but maybe. Does knowing things are impermanent make us appreciate now more? Or does it push us to create something that might actually last, something with legacy?
It's that tension, isn't it, between the fleeting and the desire for something enduring shapes so much of what we do.
Right. Okay, let's pivot from things fading away to things that actually spark change. Our third word is all about making things happen. It's catalyst.
Catalyst. Good one. The source says it's something that sparks or accelerates change.
And the example is spot on. The invention of the internet was a catalyst for the digital age. You can just see those ripples spreading out, can't you?
Absolutely. And what's really striking about a catalyst is its power. It doesn't just cause change. It ignites it, speeds it up dramatically. A process might have happened slowly or maybe not at all without it.
Like a spark.
Exactly. It's an agent of transformation, a force multiplier. Think chemically, right? A catalyst lowers the energy needed for a reaction, makes it happen much faster, more easily, socially, technologically. It's similar. The internet wasn't just another invention. It fundamentally changed everything: communication, business, learning, social life, globally.
A massive catalyst.
Huge. But catalysts aren't always that big. They can be subtle. It could be just one conversation that totally shifts your perspective.
Yeah.
Or a book you read that opens up a whole new world. Or even like a small scientific observation. Think about penicillin. That was an accident, right?
All right.
An observation.
Right, the mold.
That observation became the catalyst for modern antibiotics. A tiny thing with massive consequences. It's that element, just by being there, that facilitates this big shift.
That's a great point, that they're not always huge, obvious things. It makes me wonder about the catalysts in our own lives. Could it be just meeting someone randomly, or hearing one piece of information, or deciding, I don't know, to take a different way home from work one day?
Could be.
I heard this story once about an entrepreneur. Said their whole career changed because of a chat with a stranger on a plane. That was their catalyst.
Wow.
So it makes you think, how do we spot those moments or even create them? Embrace that potential for change.
Recognizing them is key, being open to them.
Okay, so from that rapid spark of a catalyst, let's shift gears. We move to something more about restraint. Considered simplicity, our fourth word is austere.
Austere, yes. The meaning from our source is severe, strict, or simple in style or manner.
And the example paints a picture. The monk lived an austere life, free from luxury. It definitely brings a specific image to mind. Stark, maybe.
It does, but austere has more nuance than just, hardship or deprivation. If we connect it to the bigger picture, austerity can describe a lifestyle, sure, but also an aesthetic, even a personality. It often suggests a deliberate choice, choosing simplicity, often because you're pursuing some higher goal or principle.
Deliberate choice, yeah.
It's about stripping away the excess, the superfluous, to get down to the essential.
Yeah.
Think about minimalist design. An austere room isn't just empty, it's carefully curated. Everything has a purpose, no frills, clean lines, function over ornament.
Right, there's an intention there.
Exactly. A discipline. And philosophically, think about, say, the Stoics. They advocated a kind of austerity, not because they loved suffering, but as a way to find inner peace, focus, by needing less from the outside world.
Reducing reliance on external things.
Precisely. It really challenges our modern obsession with consumption, with luxury. It suggests maybe real value, even a kind of quiet strength, comes from having less, from that lack of adornment, from discipline with resources, desires. It's about prioritizing, really, deciding what matters and letting the rest go.
It's interesting how it can seem restrictive, but you're framing it as potentially liberating. I admit, my first thought with austere is often hardship, lack.
A common association.
But you're saying it can be about discipline, clarity. In this world where there's just endless choice, constant distraction, the idea of an austere approach maybe with our diet or our screen time or even just our stuff, it seems quite compelling. Could there actually be a kind of freedom in that simplicity? Freedom from always wanting more, freedom from mental clutter.
That's the potential, yes.
Not rigid self-denial maybe, but intentional focus. Maybe even just a little bit of austerity, managing our time or information, could bring calm, clarity, help us focus on what really clicks with us.
It certainly offers a powerful alternative perspective.
Okay, and now for our final word, a lovely contrast, I think, to the focus of austerity. We turn to the beauty of, well, wandering thought. The word is reverie.
Reverie. Yes, a lovely word. Our source defines it as a daydream or state of being pleasantly lost in thought.
And the example just captures it perfectly. She drifted into a reverie, imagining her future travels.
It sounds so peaceful, fertile almost.
It does, doesn't it? And that word pleasant is really key here. Reverie isn't just spacing out, mindless wandering. It's often quite creative, imaginative, even restorative for the mind.
Restorative. How so?
Well, it's those moments when your mind just drifts off and it starts making these unexpected connections, linking ideas that seemed unrelated, envisioning possibilities, or just finding a quiet mental space away from all the immediate demands.
Yeah,
You know that famous story about Kikule, the chemist?
vaguely.
The benzene ring.
That's the one.
Ah.
He supposedly figured out the structure after drifting into a reverie by the fire, saw snakes biting their
Uh,
tails.
So the insight came when he wasn't forcing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In that unpressured mental state. That's when the complex problem suddenly became clear. So allowing ourselves time for this, it's actually really important. For creativity, for problem solving, just for mental well-being. It's like our subconscious gets a chance to work in the background, processing things, making connections, generating ideas without the pressure of direct focus.
Mm-hmm.
Taps into our imagination, lets us explore inwardly. It's a really vital counterpoint to the constant onness of modern life.
Yeah, that constant external stimulation.
Right, reverie is a space where ideas can sprout, where we can quietly work through things, where our mental batteries can recharge.
That's a beautiful way to think about it, a counterpoint to being constantly stimulated. It makes you ask, though, in our super busy, always on world, where we're told to be productive, be present all the time, are we actually allowing ourselves enough time for these pleasant reveries?
Probably not.
I know I sometimes feel guilty if my mind wanders, like it's wasting time.
That productivity pressure.
But maybe we're missing out, missing insights, creative sparks, just crucial mental breaks by always staying plugged in or focused on the next task.
It's very possible.
Maybe deliberately making space for reverie, taking a quiet walk without headphones, just staring out the window for 5 minutes, letting thoughts drift. Maybe that could unlock something.
I think so.
New perspectives, fresh ideas, or just give us that mental reset we probably all need. Recognizing the value in just letting the mind wander a bit.
The value of unstructured thought, absolutely.
Okay, that was a truly, truly illuminating deep dive into just 5 words. We've explored resilient thinking about bouncing forward, oblivion and what that means for memory, for legacy, catalyst, understanding its power to really spark and accelerate change,
Right.
austere, seeing it not just as harshness, but maybe intentional simplicity, clarity, and finally, reverie, celebrating that creative, restorative power of letting our thoughts wander pleasantly.
Yeah, and they're not just definitions that tick off a list. They're really powerful concepts. They help us articulate complex stuff more precisely, understand human nature maybe a bit better. They can even shape how we see things, how we act.
Like lenses.
Exactly. Richer lenses to view our lives, the world. They give us better language for our experiences, our hopes, the forces around us.
We really hope this deep dive has sparked maybe some aha moments for you listening and given you some new tools for thinking, for communicating more effectively. These words, they're now in your linguistic toolkit, ready to use.
And maybe for your provocative thought today,
Yeah.
consider this. What if you consciously tried to integrate just one of these words into how you think or talk daily? How might using resilient or catalyst or reverie actually change how you perceive a challenge you're facing? Or how you think about a memory? Or even just approach a quiet moment? What new perspectives might that unlock? How might it shift how you act or reflect?
That's a great one to ponder. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.